All right. Super excited to be here. I'm Mike from Unity, the largest gaming engine and leading ad monetization platform within the gaming space. I have Maria here, who is a senior director at Chipotle, and Nicole, who is the CEO of Mediahub. Do you want to quickly introduce yourselves to the team? A little bit about what you do?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Contino. I'm the head of media for Chipotle. Thanks for coming.
And hi, everyone. Nicole Estebanell. I'm the U.S. CEO for Mediahub.
Amazing. So, Maria, you lead how Chipotle shows up across media. What's the most important decision you've made to ensure your brand is not just seen, but actually matters in people's lives?
You know, when you think about media that matters, I think it's really anchored in authenticity and purpose. Chipotle works really hard at cultivating a better world. And we do that by serving responsibly sourced, classically cooked, real food with wholesome ingredients, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. And about 30 years ago, Chipotle was born in the radical belief that there's a direct connection between the way food is grown, prepared, and tastes. And real food is better. It's better for you, it's better for all people, it's better for the planet. So today, more than ever before, people really care about what's in their food. They're looking at the ingredients, they're thinking about where it's from, they're thinking about how it makes them feel. And so that food integrity is, not only something that matters in media, but it's also unique to Chipotle.
I definitely love it. So, big fan. So I guess for both of you, media moves fast, but culture moves even faster. How do you decide when to jump into a moment and when to hold back?
I'll take that. Well, first of all, not every moment is worth reacting to, and the job is to determine, when to jump or when to stay put. And at Mediahub, we are, because of the brands that we work with, we actually sit at the intersection of media and culture. And so we're often, we're advising clients, when do we make the move? Because you have a natural knee-jerk reaction. You see something, you're like, oh, we need to be a part of that. But the questions that we ask are, does this serve the brand? Is it leading towards what we're trying to build to? Does it make sense? Is it going to bring value? Or is it just going to fill the feed? And the other part is, how do you show up then authentically in a way that is transparent and that is meaningful? Because with consumers, they will call out. If it feels performative, then that becomes a detrimental insertion. So I think when you do it authentically in a way that matters, you start to become part of the conversation, you start to shape the conversation, and then, you really are rooted in culture.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Nicole. I think that's why we work so well together. But, it really does have to be organic. It has to be authentic. It also has to be an ownable moment for the brand. At Chipotle, we prefer to lead culture, not just chase it. And we lead and jump in when it's a moment that is truly relevant to the brand, but also a situation where no other brand could do it. I'll give you guys a really good example. This just happened last week. In the tattoo community, raise your hand if you have a tattoo. You might know a little something about this. Okay, there's a couple of you. In the tattoo community, they're always saying and showcasing pictures and images of people that are tatted like a Chipotle bag. And so if you know our bag that's got a lot of imagery all over it, this actually became famous when Maroon 5 was performing during the Super Bowl, and Adam Levine was standing there with all of his tats and all of his glory, and somebody tweeted, "Is it just me, or does Adam Levine look like a Chipotle bag?" And so that became like a typical reference in the community. So it's an ownable moment for Chipotle. And so knowing that Friday the 13th is a holiday in the tattoo community, last week was Friday the 13th, it's a typical time for someone to get a new tat. So Chipotle jumped in on the moment. It was very timely. And we welcomed anybody that had a tattoo into the restaurant to get a buy one, get one entree. Even if you didn't have a tattoo, we would give you a temporary flash tat so that you could put one on real quick and get that BOGO. And it was something that was such a huge success. It was so relevant. No other brand could put their name on that. And lines were out the door and sales were through the roof. It was a huge success.
Oh, that's so amazing. And then that kind of leads into my next question. As most brands are chasing impressions, you focused on really making an impact. How do you design the media that gets chosen and not just served?
You know, our media strategy really focuses on driving visibility, relevance, and brand love. You know, so when we think about being visible and visible in front of the right audience, we think about our ideal customer and how to recruit new customers. Most of our customers, about 70% of our customers, are under the age of 50. So they're mostly Gen Z and millennials. So if there's an opportunity that comes forth that scales that audience, great. If it's not scaling that young audience, then we need to pivot. When it comes to relevancy, you know, we look for the opportunities that help underscore our value proposition that is so unique to the brand with real ingredients, or punctuate purpose that is also really unique to the brand. If we aren't serving those purposes in media, then we'll walk away. But we're always welcoming new and creative and innovative ideas that help reinforce the brand message.
No, that's amazing. And Nicole, how are you thinking about measuring the impact of media in non-traditional media? And how do you quantify the buzz a brand enters into the zeitgeist?
Well, you have to look at it differently because, you know, media creativity and media efficiency do two different things. You know, efficiency is about delivery. How are we serving up the message? Where are we showing up? And creativity is about momentum. So when you have a brand that enters into the zeitgeist, or if you have a moment where you can capture lightning in a bottle, you're going to look at those results that are not going to show up in a CPM or in standard KPIs. You're going to start to look at a broader set of metrics or influences that drive that, right? You're going to see a ripple effect. You might see a spike in search, and in doing that, you might see a spike in organic content creator mentions or shares or press pickup. And so you start to look at that over time, and you start to look at a different set of things that are driving performance. And if you can overlay that with traditional metrics, then you're moving beyond just kind of, you know, media that's just a placement, and also media that's driving the business forward in a different way.
Yeah, and going into the zeitgeist, Maria, what's the framework for deciding where Chipotle doesn't belong, and when do you push back on platforms that isn't right for the brand?
You know, we really lean into the moments that again reinforce the brand values, and then, you know, we push back if it's not supporting that. You know, so we just stay true to that commitment of using and pulling all the levers and using all of our resources to really showcase the value proposition for Chipotle.
So everybody shows up for the big moments, and that's the easy part. But a few brands know how to stay interesting the rest of the time. How do you keep energy in the system between different campaigns and different pulses?
The big moments attract attention. I think momentum is built in those in-between moments, in that cadence. And so you have to think about, if you do have an always-on strategy, how do you build that out in a way that you're having connection points? How are you driving content in a different way, bringing value in a different way across like the entire consumer journey? Because when you do that, then you start to build a strategy that, you know, taps into cultural preference and purpose. And I think Chipotle does this incredibly well, and not just because I'm sitting on stage with Maria, but because, you know, quite literally they've built a community that is fanatical about the brand. Like, on paper, it's a fast casual food brand, but it really is a passion brand. It's a purpose brand. And, you know, consumers talk about it. Like, they're like fanatical about it. And so, like Maria was saying, there's different moments, there's days where it's not always a big play. It might be a micro initiative, but it all ladders up. And I just think that's an exceptional way of staying, you know, topical and part of the conversation.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
I do want to add to that, because you're spot on. I mean, in between those big moments, Chipotle loves to supercharge the super fans. And we have so many fans that are talking about our brand. Sometimes they're talking about their go-to order. Other times they're talking about their guest experience. And we love to shine a spotlight on that brand love. And so, anytime that we can do that, we'll really lean into that moment. We have one other thing that we do that I think makes a big difference in between those big campaign moments is we celebrate holidays like National Avocado Day, National Burrito Day, National Quesadilla Day. We just added National Fork Day to the holiday because people are obsessed with Chipotle's forks. Like that's real. And burrito is like a national holiday around Halloween. Chipotle customers know this. And those moments are called Chipotle Days. And they offer like a really nice extra beat and extra energy in between the big campaigns.
I love that. Nicole, how are you approaching AI in the media space overall?
We're talking a lot about AI these days, and I love it. We're thinking about it in two ways, both internally for our people and our teams and externally for our clients. So internally, we're thinking about it as how does it remove the friction or the things that slow our teams down through workflows from a planning perspective to create the headspace to think about the bigger idea. And the analogy I keep using is that AI gets you out of the starting blocks quicker to cover more ground to then get to a place of ideation, innovation, creativity. And so to balance that. And the second piece is how we're educating our clients. You have a lot of marketing organizations that are saying to our clients, you do something with AI, and our clients are like, well, what do I do? And so we're sitting down and we're showing them how we're using AI to plan their media and how we're bringing it to life as an agency and our point of view. But then with them, where is their appetite to lean in? Because certain clients are going to be much more, prone to lean in and use AI across different factors, and others where it's just, it's more educational. So if we can bridge the gap between the learning and the understanding and then the tools to use it, then I think collectively then we can drive stuff forward, which I think is going to be really exciting.
Yeah. AI is amazing, and we look for opportunities to leverage AI in places where it might benefit the customer experience or maybe even operations. But when it's specific to creative, all of the messages ladder up to for real. So that is best showcased when there is real people telling real stories about real ingredients. And I think that commitment to real offers a natural juxtaposition with AI that helps us break through that clutter with real messaging.
And we're just scratching the surface, and it's super exciting. Maria, your loyalty program behaves almost like a media channel. How do you use it to drive performance, to deepen relationships, and create another level of audience connection?
We do use it like a media channel. It's a really good analogy. But we have an incredible rewards program. We have 20 million very active super users in the program. And you're one of them. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are too. But that's 20 million uniques. I mean, think about it. That is more uniques than a lot of big tentpole moments on traditional TV or even media platforms. And it's a super engaged membership and member group that is driving a lot of business for Chipotle. And there's so many benefits for that membership. They get a first look at brand news. They get a first taste of menu innovation. We just launched Adobo Ranch dip. I hope you guys try it soon. We just launched that on Monday, but our members had an opportunity to taste it before everybody else. We're constantly reinforcing the value. We're giving them promotions. We just launched Summer of Extras. So for those of you that are members, you need to activate the Summers of Extras plan. This is where we're giving away free burritos every week. We're also giving away an opportunity to win free burritos for a year. So download that app and get your free food. It's way too easy to get free food and free drinks at Chipotle.
No, it's incredible first-party data that you get with that as well. It's incredible. And finally, Nicole, when you look across the media landscape right now, who's moving smart, and what brand is playing the long game in a way that you really respect?
In addition to Chipotle, because the entire conversation is around that, I would actually say another one of our clients, which is Ulta Beauty. Kelly Mahoney was just on stage talking about that, and I think Ulta is doing an incredible job, understanding the pace at which how fast, beauty moves, and they're connecting with Gen Z and with audiences in a way that, You know, they get that it's personal, it's emotional, it's cultural, and they're activating, and then more than just media. And that's the work that we're doing for them. We're building this connected ecosystem where it's not just drive to store, there's pop-up moments. You're working with influencers, content creators, you're driving conversation. I'll give an example, the Super Bowl. Ulta was not an official Super Bowl sponsor, but we activated around it. So we had a big tentpole event, we had athletes there, we had content creators there, and we did a live stream doing SZA's makeup. And obviously she performed at the halftime show with Kendrick, which was just like amazing, and just this really great moment for the brand that drove conversation, drove a spike in sales. And so I just think they're really dialed in, and I'm proud to also have them as a client. Yes.
That's amazing. Well, thank you both. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys.